So, hello, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Today, as Virginia said, I'm going to moderate the panel about how to manage Cascade Funding. And today with me, I have four key speakers that will let us know in a first-hand information how they actually manage Cascade Funding grants. Actually, they are the key players in the European landscape in terms of the amount of funds to be distributed, and they are the guys that actually have funds for all of you guys. So today with me, I have the pleasure to have Graciela from FundingBox, Miguel Sousa from Inova Plus, Francisco Buján from CARSA, and Miguel García as well from Sploro. So in order to start with this panel, I would like yourselves to introduce a little bit to the audience. So starting from Graciela, please let us know who you are and what's your company?
Hello, good morning everybody. My name is Graciela Garrido. I am the head of sales at FundingBox. And we are defining us as funding champions because we orchestrate funding with technology, with connections, and so on. So basically, in our company, I've been working with the company and with Cascade Funding in the last, I don't know, since 2012, something like this, with the first projects. Right now, we are involved in more than 50 projects at European level. Most part of them with Cascade Funding distributing around 85 million euros for you. So we have a lot of opportunities for you. We are also involved, as I mentioned, creating ecosystems around these technologies with the key players and so on. That's why we are also very involved in the DIAs. And myself, I am also representing our mother company that is called Econet. It's the mother company of the group, and we are partnered with in IRIS, that is the European DIH in Navarre. And one of our partners, Eva, will explain more about our services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Graciela. Miguel?
Hello, good morning everyone, and thank you for the invitation to join this fantastic event. So my name is Miguel Sousa, I am the CEO of Inova. So our main target is to develop innovative ecosystems. For that we need to bring resources, so we work with multiple funding schemes at European level, national level, even outside Europe. We are more or less 120 persons in Portugal, around 80, then in Brussels, Germany and Poland. Our main goal today is to share with you some opportunities. We are managing some Cascade Funding projects, and I believe that some of them can be interesting for all of you.
Thank you very much. Francisco?
Hello, good morning everyone. My name is Francisco Buján. I'm coming from CARSA. Central office in Bilbao, and I'm a senior research and innovation consultant. And we are a more than 37 years old company, and we've been through many framework programs and many schemes. And this scheme, Cascade Funding scheme, we've been working with it approximately like around 10 years. I started actually with Miguel in a huge initiative launched by the European Commission, actually, back in 2014. We learned a lot, and this kind of scheme has been growing and implementing in Europe for a long time, and with its evolution. I will try to, since we are going to be asked as managers of Cascade Funding programs, to give you our vision, so it's useful for you as potential applicants, potential SMEs and startups that might be interested in it, and hopefully it brings you some insightful indications. Well,
thank you very much. And last but not least, Miguel?
Thank you very much. So I'm Miguel García. For those who do not know me, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Sploro. We are the new kids on the block. So we are a young company. Our first Cascade Funding project just started 2 years ago. So but we already have 10. So something good we are doing. We had a lot of previous experience managing this type of grants. We are based in Pamplona, so we are the local and regional ecosystem, and I'm very grateful for having you all here because it took a while to convince everyone to join in Pamplona. So as my colleagues were saying, we're currently managing different open calls. Actually, we have under management 32 million for the coming years with many different calls. You have all our projects over there in the posters. So there are different opportunities for entrepreneurs, researchers, developers, and so on. As one of the officers was mentioning, we're even managing a program to collaborate with universities and research centers in the US and Canada, together with other partners that I see here, like Marjorie here from Mobile World Capital Barcelona. So I'm very happy really to be here and willing to hear your questions and also from the moderator about how we are dealing with Cascade Funding.
Yep. So thank you very much, Miguel. Just a kind reminder to all the attendees. So you can actually ask questions to the let's say, to our today's speakers, mainly because they do have the funds. So they have the money to give it to you. So starting from a management perspective, Graciela, so how does FundingBox manage this type of calls, I would say?
Yeah. We have, first of all, when we started to participate in these projects, we create our platform. So basically, our activities start with this platform that is the one that we are using for distributing the funds, but also to create the supporting teams with compliance, with legal, and so on. So this was our starting. And what we are doing basically is managing all the funds using two main characteristics, we can say, from our projects. The first is that we use lump sum. This means that we are not asking you for a lot of papers, not in the application and not in the compliance part. So basically, we trust you. We are only asking for papers if we are going to get you the funds. In this moment, yes, we are asking to verify that you are a SME, that you are based in a European country and so on. And then our projects are based on milestones. So if you deliver the milestone that we agree with you in the beginning, we are paying. So very, very easy way. And the second thing is that we would like to be as much independent as possible. That's why we are using external evaluators for evaluating our projects and our calls. And this is also something that I would like to highlight you, because we are looking all the time for mentors, evaluators, and this is also a good opportunity for you, as the Commission mentioned, to participate as evaluator and mentors to see what is moving around, and then you have different knowledge and more knowledge about how to apply.
Yeah, Graciela described very well what we do when we manage the Cascade Funding, but I will give you my perspective from the side of a consultant company that supports the funding to real small companies. So from our side, what we expect is that the Cascade Funding is a first step to scale up a business, to scale up an opportunity. And as consultant companies, we want to engage more than the funding of the Cascade Funding. We want to engage this small business in innovative ecosystems and to support them to grow. And this is our main goal. We use the Cascade Funding as an early stage funding for startup companies, but then what we really expect is that during that process or during that period that you receive that funding, you can grow and then you can participate in more ambitious projects, bigger projects, and more innovative ecosystems. That's our expectation from our side. From your side, your expectation is to start this process with us and then have a bigger ambition to participate in bigger projects and move from your country or your region to a European level.
Well, after that. Well, how we approach that is, or what we actually try to do is, since we are intermediaries in this process. Our final intention is to balance that, the requirements that we have from the European Commission, because we are in charge of public funds. We have to comprise with some regulations and so on, but try to make it simple for you as applicants, as simple as possible, to make it clear whether you are eligible or not eligible, or what are the conditions that and actually the objective of what we are looking for particular open calls or particular cascade funding schemes, because they might be different. There might be different approaches and requirements. So transfer that and make it simple and easy to understand, so you really know what is expected from you, and also try to deploy a also, again, simple process in which you are, as Graciela was also saying, that the application process is as simple as possible. So you count with also with a mechanism or a platform that we have, and in our case we have our own platform for managing the whole process. So it's simple for you to apply, to understand what you are asked for and how to do it. And this is the first for us, or the major objective, to transform that into a simple process for you, but to make sure that you don't waste your time, and also we don't waste our time. So because there's a lot of opportunities in Cascade Funding, there are a lot of, as again, approaches and objectives, higher objectives, and that we have to take into the ground and make that simple for you. I would say that would be our first, let's say, approach.
Okay, thank you. So, Francisco, you were speaking about being between, no, that's one for you. Yeah, you were speaking about being in the middle of the Commission and the startups. So, how challenging is this for a company like Sploro?
I mean, this is one of our challenges as a company. I guess that's the same in my competitive partner's case. So we usually have to deal with the regulations that come from high above in the Commission and try to make them clear and explainable to smaller players. So that's our job. Actually, our mission as a company is making innovation available and understandable for everyone. So I think we play that role because we know how the Commission speaks and we know how startups speak. So we're just the person in the middle that will try to make those funds and those regulations achievable for everyone. So we will see later in the panel some real examples, not just talking about theory. But I think one of our secrets is understanding what the Commission requires and also what are the real needs of the market. So this is why. Okay.
So later on we will have real examples here. But I would say that the audience will love to know some success stories. So, Miguel, you were speaking about the scale-up in Europe, let's say, starting from these Cascade Funding opportunities. Can you share with us some success stories that you had?
Well, success stories, it depends on the time that you are measuring the success, right? But we have some examples of startup companies that come up with a small amount of money from a Cascade Funding project that then move to participate in bigger consortium in Horizon mission. For example, we have a case in a project, a climate mission. We are talking about projects of 50 million euros with 50 partners. And we managed to get there 2 or 3 startup companies from Cascade Fundings, because we realized that when they apply to the Cascade Funding and after they develop their product, their solution, they were ready for, I would say, to increase the level of challenging their technology. And so we engaged them in these running projects. So that's why the success is scaling up their opportunity. But in the end of the project will finish in 2006. That will be the time to measure the real success. If they have a product that is a competitive product on the market, and that they start in the beginning of the project with a team of 10 persons, and then if they grow also their talent, their their market. But that could be a success story, but let's wait for 2 more years.
Okay. So you were speaking about, no, Graciela, yeah, please take it. You were speaking about funding every time. Are there any other benefits for SMEs and startups to take part in a Cascade Funding project like the ones that you are managing right now?
Yeah, sure. And in fact, we are measure a lot our beneficiaries, and we are measure a lot the impact and so on. We have very good examples of entities that success after the Cascade Funding. And in this kind of monitoring, what they are telling us is that they came to us for the funding, but at the end, the funding is the less important thing. Because in the projects, and I think that none of us mentioned this, but we are always not alone, right? We are in a partnership also with mobile, with another RTOs at European level. So we are also giving funding, but also mentorship. We are mentoring the startups and the SMEs with business and technical support. We are supporting them also with additional funding, so we are in an ecosystem with these RTOs, with these corporates and so on. So at the end, this exposure to this ecosystem is that, and all around the funding, is what the companies mention as the most important takeaway from our projects. They came for the funding, but at the end, we are talking in most of the cases, the average about 60,000 euros, so it's not that much. But to be part with big corporates like Ferrovial, I call always Citroën, but now I don't know what is the name of the company, PSA or whatever it is called right now. And most of the companies at the end get business with this kind of corporates, or even they were built. I have one big example from a lot of years ago. It was a company that received funding in one of our first projects. And basically, they told us that they were basically about to close the company. So they get these 60,000 euros, they grow, they connect with mentors. The name of the company was Glamping Hub. It was a company from Seville. And they were mentoring by people from Booking. And at the end, they get, 10 million euros of investment. So they really, explode their business. So this is the kind of examples that we are looking for. And the feedback is that, they came for the 60K. In that moment, they didn't close the company because they received this money to pay the salaries. But at the end, they get the business at a bit later.
Okay. Francisco, you can choose the question. So whether you share with us a success story or speak about synergies with your competitors, so to say.
Well, I can take both. I was thinking about a success story, or a success story, a startup that is really getting into Cascade Funding as a tool to grow. Since, let's say, just a couple of years ago or some months ago, and these guys have tried, and they get, they're starting to get some good results in Cascade Funding, and they use this instrument to, and this would be to encourage some of you to do the same approach with you can, because the schemes that are sought are like kind of a testing or validating, as was describing the technologies. So if you are in the case of trying to engage some clients or a specific client that is key for you, because some startups always have one specific or a couple of clients that are key, you can use the scheme to test with them. Test with them advanced technologies, and you can both benefit from it, and this is they have tried, and they actually got throughout these 2 years like 3 or 4 different Cascade Funding projects with clients that are enable them to start working with it as a key leverage to grow the company. So I think that if you take this approach, you can also look for opportunities there. And in terms of cooperating with colleagues and maybe competitors, this is, I've been here today, is actually an example of it. I never would have thought, this is the first time actually in all these years that somebody invites me and some colleagues to a session like this, and this is, I would like to thank you for that. And this is new times for, this is not a very common thing to do. And because there's always synergies, we will cross paths, and we are crossing paths everywhere. And for example, and I know that we are, you are here also in the Enterprise Euro Network. We meet some colleagues here. We work for the Enterprise Euro Network in the Basque Country, and well, we know the ecosystem. You know the ecosystem. We can build things together. So I think openness and opportunities like this today is something that we all really have to push forward, because it's really fruitful for everyone. Yeah.
Thank you very much. I think we have only 5 minutes to go. So Miguel, last question for you. In your opinion, what do you think is the biggest challenge for these SMEs and startups to access Cascade funding opportunities?
Yeah, that's a good question. So you've heard a lot of stories of the Cascade funding managers, everyone with their own calls, everyone dealing with some projects, different partners, and so on. So when we established, or we started to work in this Cascade funding, one of the things that it was driving crazier customers was how do I find all the sources, and how do I find all the opportunities all together in the same place, so that I can surf the web and check somewhere where are the open calls and so on. So recently we launched cascadefunding.eu, and that's a website that is public access, free to everyone, where we basically add all the open calls that my colleagues here publish, other entities in Europe are handling, and it's like the Cascade Funding Hub, with the idea to have direct links to each one's platform so that you can easily apply, you can also filter the opportunities and so on. So our focus at the very beginning, and I thank Francisco for what he said, I mean, we're competitors for sure, but we need to collaborate as well, because we're dealing with public funding. So makes no sense to compete in the strict sense. Makes a lot of sense to share stories, share how things can be better and so on. And one of the things that we started to do was building this online portal for everyone. I repeat it, cascadefunding.eu, so that everyone can check opportunities online.
So thank you very much, all of you. Now I think we can move to Slido, just to, let's say, to check if there are any questions from the audience. Otherwise, if you want to raise your hand, I can give you the micro and you can just, let's say, ask any question.
Okay, so, well, hello everyone. My name is Ignacio Reina. I also work for Sploro, and I'll be the one compiling all the questions that arise from our Slido show. So one we have more or less answered just right now. I highlighted this because someone in the audience is asking, where can I find more info about the open calls?
Cascadefunding.eu.
More clear. And then some other questions. For example, could you please share the ratio of success of this Cascade funding based on your experience?
I can start with the calls that we manage, okay? But I guess everyone will have different numbers. It depends a lot on the call, that's the first thing. So we're running programs like Women Tech EU, Empower Women, which are very focused to women entrepreneurs coming from deep tech area. Those are massive, so the success rate is low because there are a lot of applicants. But in average, we monitor all the calls that we've been running for the past year and a half, and we have a success rate of 16%. I checked yesterday because I know this was going to come. So we have an average of 16%, but considering these two programs, which will hamper the results. Regular calls, which are very targeted, like NGI Sargasso or Foodity and so on, I would say they go for a 25, 30%. It depends. Huh?
I'm not going to give any numbers, but the truth is that it's higher than a common European project, and that is for sure. And I would also like to say that don't hesitate, and if you get failed, try again, because Cascade funding calls are very niche, so there will surely be a place for your project. If this is, that's what I was saying, that to make things clear, because sometimes it is not your place. but there's place for, because this scheme has been running, like I said, like 10 years. Initially, the success ratio was extremely high because it was a new scheme and actually nobody knew about it. But now, of course, time passes and there's huge opportunities. So message is higher than a regular European project, and if you find your niche project or Cascade Funding initiative, that number will get higher, even higher. So let's go for it, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with my colleagues. It depends on the thematic approach of the project. There are projects that has a success rate of 60, 70%. There are others that are more competitive. It can go to 25 or 30%. But it's clear. It's a huge opportunity for a first step in international funding. And for a startup that normally do not have internal resources to apply to these European funds, Cascade Funding is a great opportunity with limited effort. So the applications is not hard, it's not a lot of information, so normally it's easy to fill the application, and that effort many times is compensated with the funding.
Yeah. Basically, in our case, is the same, depending a lot of the project, depending a lot of the thematic, of the requirements. We have some projects that they are individuals. The ones, for example, we are participating in 3, I think, NGI projects. So in this case, these projects are very open because we even fund individual people, right? Natural persons. So in this case, there are more applicants and so on. In other cases that it's more target, that is a project, a pilot project with a RTO and a company from different countries. So it's more complex. We are around 70%. So really depending of the type of the project. But as they mentioned, and I agree totally with this, it's so simple to apply. So even if the success is low in some cases, you only spend, and we are measure this, less than 1 morning to fill the application form. So really, you need to try, right? It's only spend 2-3 hours filling applications, and you can, succeed with all this small effort.
Okay, so thank you very much. I have all the team saying to me that we are running out of time, so and I know that there are a lot of questions. So we do have the coffee break right after the next session. So basically, if you want to, let's say, speak with them and tell them, give me the money, you can do it during the coffee break. So thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the event.